Yep, we're good.
All right, at this time, we'll call our May 4th, 2021 public meeting to order. If you could please stand for our salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic
which stands
one
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jamie, if you could read the sunshine statement.
Be advised that proper notice has been given by the Township Council in accordance with the Sunshine Law in the following manner. Notice advertised in the Burlington County Times and Camden Courier Post on January 7th, 2021, and posted on the bulletin board on the same date. Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Jenny?
Here.
Ms. Pareo?
Here.
Mr. Lyon?
Here.
Mr. Burrell?
Here. All right, good evening, everybody. First up, we have our minutes for approval. I'm seeking a motion to approve the minutes of the March 9th, 2021 action, work session, and closed meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Smith?
Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Jenny?
Aye.
Ms. Pareo?
Aye.
Mr. Lyon?
Aye.
Mr. Burrell?
Aye, and the motion carries, so the minutes are approved. Next up, we have our big item for tonight is the 2021 municipal budget. Before we get started with the actual meat of the budget, I'll ask for a motion to approve Resolution 2021-78 that's providing for self-examination of the budget.
So moved, Tom Lyon.
Second, Virginia.
Jamie?
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Jenny?
Aye.
Ms. Pareo?
Aye.
Mr. Lyon?
Aye.
Mr. Burrell?
Aye. And on the motion for Resolution 2021-79, this is allowing the budget to be read by title.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Jamie, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Jenny?
Aye.
Ms. Pareo?
Aye.
Mr. Lyon?
Aye.
Mr. Burrell?
Aye. Motion carries, the resolution passes. And before we get to our public comment on a public hearing on the budget, I do have a quick statement to read for the record, summarizing the budget. The budget was introduced on April 6th, 2021, and advertised in the Burlington County Times on April 21st, 2021. The budget, user-friendly version, and the PowerPoint were all available on the website after that point. The municipal budget provides for no tax increase at a rate that will remain at 0.790 for the second year in a row. In addition, the sewer portion of the budget does not provide for a rate increase the 11th year in a row with no rate increase on the sewer side. The total assessment for a home, the average assessment for a home in Delran is $212,050, and the average tax bill for the municipal portion of that tax, which is about 21%, is about $1,600. And as mentioned, we represent, the municipal side represent 21% of the total tax bill that a resident receives. That 21% pays for some of the following, and this is just a small sliver of what that provides. That provides your police department, your court system, the public works department, the trash pickup, the clerk's office, our parks and recreation programs, and the construction and code enforcement office. That's just to name a few. The total budget is $17,709,896, which is down from the previous year. The township will be utilizing $4.3 million of its fund balance as revenue in that budget. The budget is also under the spending cap and New Jersey tax levy cap. I think this is a terrific, excellent budget in light of the global pandemic that stressed our resources very thin here in Delran and throughout the state. While we may, council and the mayor here may set the strategic vision, I got to credit much to the department heads and staff that managed their budgets well and spent wisely. Their diligence and flexibility during the pandemic is what I believe the reason why we were able to be so proud of this budget. So with that, I will now ask for a motion to open the floor to public comment on the 2021 municipal budget.
So moved, Tom Lyon.
I'll second.
Marla will have that. Virginia, Jamie,
Mhm.
please call the roll.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Jenny,
Aye.
Ms. Pareo, Mr. Lyon,
Aye.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye. And the motion carries. We are now open to the public for public comment on the 2021 municipal budget. So at this time, for the public who are with us tonight, if you could please raise your hand on your Zoom app. It's at the bottom of your screen. We will then unmute you and you can ask your questions here to us. And we have Jeff with us who prepared the budget, so he'll be able to provide the most accurate answers. And seeing no hands, I'll ask for a motion to close the floor.
Motion.
Second, Tom Lyon.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. The floor is now closed. And now we have our resolution 2021-80. This is to adopt the 2021 municipal budget.
So moved, Tom Lyon.
Second.
Jamie, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Jenny,
Aye.
Ms. Pareo,
Aye.
Mr. Lyon,
Aye.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye. And the motion carries, the resolution carries, and our budget is passed. Congratulations, everybody, on work well done. And I want to thank the mayor and Jeff for doing their hard work and making sure this budget was perfect for this year. Very good job, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With that, we're on to our ordinances on second reading. So these will have a public hearing. First up, we have a second reading on ordinance 2021-07. This is to repeal and replace portions of the snow removal ordinance. Can I get, first I need a motion to open the floor to the public comment.
I'll make a motion to open for public comment.
Thank you.
Second.
A second from Lynn.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Our floor is now open for comment on this ordinance and this ordinance only. For folks joining on Zoom, if you could please raise your hand. And seeing no hands, I'll ask for a motion to close the floor.
So moved, Tom Lyon.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries and the floor is now closed. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2021-07.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
And Jamie, if you could please call the roll.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Jenny,
Aye.
Ms. Pareo,
Aye.
Mr. Lyon,
Aye.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye. The motion carries and the ordinance is passed. Next, we have our second reading on ordinance 2021-08. This is repealing portions of the professional service contract ordinance. At this time, I'll ask for a motion to open the floor to public comment.
I'll make a motion open for public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. Our floor is now open to public comment. So for the folks on Zoom, if you would like to comment on ordinance 2021-08, please raise your hand. And I'm not seeing any hands, so I'll ask for a motion to close the floor.
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. The floor is now closed. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2021-08.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And Virginia's second.
Correct.
Virginia, you second, right? Okay, great. And Jamie, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Jenny,
Aye.
Ms. Pareo,
Aye.
Mr. Lyon,
Aye.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye, and the motion carries. The ordinance is adopted. Next up, we have our ordinances on first reading. This is ordinance 2021-09, an ordinance establishing salaries for township employees. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved, Tom Lyon.
And a second?
Second. Lynn.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Jenny,
Aye.
Ms. Pareo,
Aye.
Mr. Lyon,
Aye.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye. And motion carries. That'll be on our next public meeting for second reading. Next up, we have our resolutions, moving right along. This is Resolution 2021-81, authorizing the Township of Delran to enter in a mutual release and settlement agreement with 4101 Bridgeboro Road LLC. Can I get a motion and a second?
So moved. Virginia.
I'll second.
Great. Jamie, if you could please call the roll.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Jenny,
Aye.
Ms. Pareo,
Aye.
Mr. Lyon,
No.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye. The ayes have it, and the resolution is passed to approve the settlement agreement. I just want to take a moment of privilege, if you don't mind, to read a statement into the record regarding this. Real quick, if you could excuse me, my allergies are, it's been a bad week. The resolution that was just approved, 2021-81, is to settle litigation associated with 4101 Bridgeboro Road, also known as Dunphy's Landscaping LLC. Just a quick basis of the facts without writing a dissertation here. In the fall of 2029, Dunphy's Landscaping purchased the property located at 4101 Bridgeboro Road. Thereafter, they were authorized to operate based on representations they made to the Code Enforcement Office, to the Zoning Office. However, the township later shut down the operation because it was determined that they misrepresented the farming operations at the property. Dunphy sought a variance, which was denied by the zoning board. By right, Dunphy's appealed that decision to the New Jersey Superior Court. The zoning board defended their decision. That business did not conform to the current zone. But unfortunately, the court ruled in favor of Dunphy. And as a result, Dunphy is now allowed to operate his business at that property, notwithstanding the current zoning. Following, Dunphy's lawyers shared proposed tort claim notices with us, which are in essence them preparing for litigation. The claims included a laundry list of claims. In an effort to mitigate the cost and exposure to the township, we met with their attorneys on multiple occasions to resolve the matter before getting to the court. The results of those conversations lead us to today's settlement of $300,000. The truth of the matter is that settlements in general and disputes are commonplace for municipalities, unfortunately throughout the state and nation, as it is believed that governments have deep pockets to fund plaintiffs' litigation, frankly. Delran is not immune from this notion by any means. While we unequivocally dispute the merits of the potential claims, the litigation in question would have a significant financial impact on the residents that Township Council could not ignore. The minute, for example, a lawsuit is filed here in town, it triggers a waterfall of expenses and processes. We were hit with a significant insurance deductible and attorney's fees in order to defend the matter. This is why emotion cannot drive these decision-making processes. Logic and economics must, and I can assure the residents that logic and economics did in this situation. Today's decision is clearly based on a cost-benefit analysis. After consulting with our attorneys and professionals, they advised of the settlement defending this litigation for over several years of depositions and hearings would likely cost the township more than it would to settle at this stage. Even considering the risky gamble of throwing this matter to the winds of the court in hopes of prevailing at the end, simply ignores the fact that we would have already spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend the case, likely more than today's settlement. I can assure residents that this decision was not taken lightly, and I really mean that. All the council's decisions we make here today and in the past and future are all deliberate and with care, but especially true with the nature of any settlement. When larger sums of money are considered, we have to forego other competing priorities. That's common sense that residents want. These are priorities that residents want, that they need, and that make Delran a better place. Fortunately, the coercive nature of litigation has undermined that desire to serve the residents. But today's decision stops that risk exposure, provides finality, safeguards the residents' money, and enables us to get back to serving the residents. Thank you very much. At this time, I'll ask for We'll now go to our next resolution. This is Resolution 2021-82, awarding contract to the lowest bidder, CNS Cleaning Company, Inc. Can I get
So
a
moved, Tom Lyon.
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second.
Jamie, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Jenny,
Aye.
Ms. Pareo,
Aye.
Mr. Lyon,
Aye.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye, and the resolution carries. Next up, we have our consent agenda. This is a consent agenda to approve Resolution 2021-83 all the way to Resolution 2021-86. Is there any objections to the consent agenda before we approve it? Seeing no objections, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion, Lynn Jenny.
I'll second.
Great. And Jamie, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Jenny,
Aye.
Ms. Pareo,
Aye.
Mr. Lyon,
Aye.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye. And the consent agenda passes, as well as all of the resolutions therein. And next up, we have our motions. I'll ask for a motion authorizing the payment of bills, including all purchases made under the cooperative purchasing agreement.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Jamie, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Jenny,
Aye.
Ms. Pareo,
Aye.
Mr. Lyon,
Aye.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye. The motion carries. And next up, I have a motion seeking a motion to accept the report of the tax collector and township clerk. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Motion. No. Second.
And Jamie, if you could call the roll.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Jenny,
Aye.
Ms. Pareo,
Aye.
Mr. Lyon,
Aye.
Mr. Burrell.
Aye. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. And finally, we have our reports this evening. First up, we have our clerk, Jamie Eggers. Jamie, any report?
No report tonight.
Great, thank you. And next up, we have our township administrator, Jeff Hatcher. Jeff?
Thank you. I just wanted to do my quarterly report on the activities of the Joint Insurance Fund and the Municipal Excess Liability Fund. I know that always makes the mayor happy. We belong to a joint insurance fund, the Burlco JIF, which represents 26 municipalities. And then we have an excess liability fund that covers our reinsurance, our public officials liability insurance, our employment practices, and some of the other minor bonds and things along those lines, which represent about 360 of the 566 municipalities in the state of New Jersey. Even though the commercial market right now, in discussion with them on our annual updates, indicates that the commercial market's getting very tight with respect to those areas of coverage. We've had very small increases in those areas, and in fact, as you well know, the budget did not increase in any of the line items that pertain to the Joint Insurance Fund or the Municipal Excess Liability Fund. In addition, all of the employees are currently going through their annual supervisor training, or the department heads are going through supervisor training. And then we offer a class to all of the employees concerning their rights, which will be ongoing. And finally, I've had to update all of the personnel policies for the township, which we have to do every 2 or 3 years. It's usually 2 years, but because of the pandemic, they extended it to 3 years. The first draft is completed, is being reviewed by the labor attorney. Once that review is completed, it'll come back to Township Council at a work session for your review as well. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Jeff, and great work with the budget as always.
Thank you.
Next up, we have our mayor, Mayor Katcherba.
Thank you, Council President. So just a couple of things. It'll be perhaps my shortest report in some time. But by now, most of you, I think, here in the Delran family know about Jaden Phillips. He's a Delran High School senior who is currently fighting brain cancer. I've been in touch with Dr. Broschel and others discussing ways that maybe we can continue to come together to support his family as they care for Jaden. So please keep Jaden and his family in your thoughts and prayers, and please keep checking social media for more information about how you too can be involved. And finally, I just want to thank council and especially Jeff and the department heads for all their hard work on this year's budget. It is not always possible to pass a budget with a zero tax increase while maintaining the high level of services that we're able to offer to the residents of Delran. But I thank you to the Township Council for your hard work to adjust to the needs of all the departments and all keeping spending under control. With all the changes that have happened this year due to COVID, it was a remarkable thing that we could keep on track financially for the people. And I remind everybody, in light of the changes that are now happening as the restrictions are being relaxed, I would just ask everyone to please stay safe. That's my report.
Thank you, Mayor. And right back at you. Congratulations on your first budget as mayor. Well done.
Yes, thank you.
And next up from our solicitor's office, we have Jennifer McPeak. Jen?
All I've got for you guys tonight is we're continuing to work on those ordinances. I do believe a letter went out to you guys sometime earlier this week about a couple of them, but just expect a couple more of them. I think we've got 2 more. They're almost ready to go too. So that's all I have.
Great. Thank you very much. We'll probably talk about those, if not our next meeting, one in the very near future. And next up, we have our reports from council members. So starting first, Councilwoman Virginia Parejo. Councilwoman?
Oh, yes, really quick. I want to thank you, Mayor, for working with Senator Singleton's office to coordinate the volunteer beautification event in Ward 1 at Friendship Park. I have heard from a number of residents that Friendship Park has been in need of some TLC for a while. So I know that they will really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to participating in that event with the volunteers. Thank you. And that's all I have for tonight.
Great. Thank you. Next up, we have Councilman Marlo Smith. Councilman?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to echo the mayor and council president's great words about the budget. I mean, in the pandemic year to come in with no tax increase, but just fantastic job. Jeff, fantastic job as always. All the department heads, council, just a tremendous job. Just wanted to just thank everyone. It was definitely a group effort, and very proud of the budget that was produced. Secondly, the mayor did touch on the COVID restrictions being lifted. It is great news, and I know everyone wants to get outside now. The weather is getting warmer and spend more time outdoors. But yes, definitely make sure that we're all continuing to stay vigilant. Not everyone is vaccinated. I know that there's potentially some good news next week about some of the younger folks, the 12 to 15-year-olds, potentially getting approved, for the emergency use authorization. So we'll keep our eyes peeled with that. That would be great news for all those that are either in middle school or heading to middle school. So we'll definitely keep our eyes peeled for that. And last but not least, I just wanted to mention this month we do have 2 recycling days for refrigerators. So those dates are coming up May 12th and May 26th. So for folks that need to have old refrigerators, either in their garage or ones that are not working, those are the dates that those will be recycled. So just wanted to get that word out. And that's the end of my report.
Awesome. Thank you. And next up, we have Councilman Lynn Jenny.
I echo many things that were said. I would like to thank Jeff and the mayor for the great job on the budget. It's probably the most important task that they undertake. And with the mayor just walking into the position, I think a great job was done, and it's a great service to our community and to the residents. And Jeff, thank you very much, and all your support team there. We couldn't ask for more during a pandemic year. Thanks.
Great, thank
That's
you.
all I have.
Great, thanks. And next up, we have our Vice President of Council, Vice President Tom Lyon.
Thank you, and echo the sentiments. It is a great budget, especially in these times. And what you do 2 years ago and last year and this year all weigh into how we got to where we are, and we could keep it stable and not to have to increase taxes. So my hat's off to the mayor, Jeff, all department heads. I mean, everybody kind of for their department probably wants more money or wants to try to do this or what and that, but we're making the town run. We're keeping the services up and we're keeping the taxes stable. So I think that's really a good thing. And last, I'd like to just we have a beautiful town. We have a lot of open space. We got a lot of green acres, springs here, everything's greening up. Take some time to walk around, look around, maybe go to one of the parks and just enjoy beautiful Delran, because it is a beautiful place and it's a great place to live. So that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. We appreciate that. And I have no other report other than just to echo everybody's comments that were already set. So with that, I'll ask for a motion to open the floor to public comment.
I'll make a motion open to public comment.
Second.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. The floor is now open to public comment. For folks who are on Zoom and would like to comment or have questions, we ask you please raise your hand using the Zoom feature. I believe it's at the bottom of your application. And I don't see anybody. Do you, Jamie? Okay, seeing no hands, we'll ask for a motion to close the floor.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. The floor is now closed. And finally, we have one more motion, and that's a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good rest of your night.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.